appreciation to them and the people of the state for their prayers and well wishes for him.
This is my singular honor, pleasure, privilege, on behalf of the Nigerian pensioners, to present this pillar of the state pensioners award to you, Your Excellency, in recognition of the support, love, and extreme care for pensioners in our state. We are grateful to you. I'm proud of your administration. Congratulations.
It's not for him to be praised or to receive award. It saw it at the commencement of this administration that is a duty that must be done, not because he wanted accolades, but he saw it as wrongdoing for workers' entitlements not to be paid as and when due.
Mitawa reports that the union's executive meeting has as its theme effects of subsidy removal on an average pensioner. Report.
It was the National Executive Council meeting of the Nigeria Union Pensioners here in Akure, the Ondo State capital. The meeting was to review the state of the nation and postulate the way forward. National President of the Union, Godwin Abumisi, said petrol subsidy removal has impoverished pensioners, urging the federal government to fulfill its promise due to their vulnerability, while emphasizing that its members have been struggling and battling for survival. Abumisi said, if the palliatives are religiously implemented, devoid of bureaucratic bottlenecks, it will go a long way to calm down frayed nerves of its members. He passionately appealed to government at all levels to assuage the pains of its members and other vulnerable Nigerians.
If all our state governors could take a cue from all those state governments, Nigeria will soon become an Eldorado where no pensioner shall be oppressed.
Chairman Ondo State Union of Pensioners, Mr. Johnson Osunyemi, hailed the state government for regular payment of their entitlements.
Although we still tremble under the cumbersome yoke of unpaid gratuities, we have decided to celebrate our governor today because he has paid all our arrears of pensions which he inherited from his predecessors. Equally true, he has implemented all the increases in our pensions. These are the 33.4% and the consequential increase in our pensions. All have been implemented by the Ondo State government.
The state governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, who was represented by his special advisor on union matters and special duties, Mr. Dare Aragbaye, said, as part of his commitment to the welfare of pensioners, monthly pensions are being paid as and when due, while government prioritizes allocation of substantial amounts of money for payment of gratuities.
on his assumption of office that he will make it a priority. Workers, both serving and retired, their welfare will be his priority. And since then, he has not turned away from that path.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, represented by Mr. Dare Aragbaye, among others, was presented with Award of Excellence. Adewumi Taiwo, OSRC News.
Of the tenure of the elected chairman. Ondo State government says it would not relent efforts in the provision of potable water for its citizenry. The State Commissioner for Water for offices of Operation Akure also report Jimo Ebiedi and present.
The consultancy services for organizational and instructional technical assistance for Ondo State Water Corporation brought together dignitaries from both the State Water Corporation and members from the Water Resources, Public Sanitation and Hygiene Ministry to meet mind on way forward for the state on water provision. The Commissioner for Water Resources, Public Sanitation and Hygiene, Fatai Olutu, appealed to engineers of the ministry to put to use knowledge gathered at the training.
To us in this ministry, we are at the threshold of bringing a revolution to the water sector in Ondo State. And the project to me is so dear to the heart of Mr. Governor and to the heart of this government that by the time the tenure has come to an end, indeed, people of Ondo State will have recognized the indelible mark that Mr. Governor has made in the water sector.
The General Manager, Ondo State Water Corporation, Adebisi Oyebode, and the General Manager, Rural Water Resources, Public Sanitation and Hygiene, Rotimi Oladimeji, assured citizens of Ondo State of portable water soon.
Some of these things that we have done in terms of reforms, by the time the construction work begins and water starts flowing, I will begin to implement some of the recommendations that they have made. You now see that 2ML has actually done a very good job.
We are to educate people outside there what government is doing as regards water to the state capital. So you have to be a member of that gospel to ensure there is information, this proper information distribution to the outside world, our communities outside there.
The Consulting Director, 2ML Consultancy Limited, Samuel Aihomu, thanked the Ondo State Governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, for giving them the approval to operate in the state. He assured government that all needed efforts have been put in place in ensuring that water is made available to the people of the state.
The governor has actually tried. Sometime back, they launched the project, the infrastructure project for the multipurpose in Igbarauke, and then the multipurpose Ondo, and then some other water schemes that are in the state. And so, and then the kind of distribution network they are putting in place, and the kind of funding that the government is supporting in implementing this water infrastructure. That the water, just like in those olden days where you can open your water in the tap and then you will drink water.
The consultancy firm also promised to provide scholarship for about 5 indigent students in public tertiary institutions in the state. Goodwill messages were presented by some of the government's functionaries at the event.
If a leader gets it wrong, there is nothing the followers will achieve. By the time I was posted and I resumed fully in September, I met that vision on ground. And I had no option than to key into it.
The event ended with a charge on participants to utilize the privilege given to them by the consulting firm.
We bring good tidings to the people of Ondo State under the leadership of our amiable governor, Arakuri Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, CON, who when assumed office met 7 months of salary arrears and leave bonuses being owed local government workers and has cleared this backlog. To ameliorate the reality of the economic situation on retirees, the governor has decided that gratuities for local government retirees and primary school teachers should no longer be paid in piecemeal but paid en bloc. The governor has therefore approved the sum of 1 billion naira to gradually defray backlog of gratuities starting from 2011 and part of 2012, as this will be a continuous process. Flag off holds on Thursday, 30th November 2023 at the Dome along Igbatoro Road, Akure by 10 a.m. This new beam of light that is about to shine on local government retirees and primary school teachers, the governor says, shall not cease. Announcer is the Ondo State Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs.
With reasonable dispatch that deliberations on the 2024 budget estimates of 27.5 trillion naira. The President presented the 2024 budget proposal before the lawmakers on Wednesday noon. Christian, the budget of renewed hope, Tinubu said he is confident that the National Assembly will continue to work closely with the executive to ensure that deliberations on the 2024 budget are thorough but also concluded with reasonable dispatch. According to him, his goal is for the Appropriation Act to come into effect on the 1st of January 2024. The President said the budget of renewed hope will ensure microeconomic stability, poverty reduction, greater access to security and social security, amongst others. In his vote of thanks, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, assured the President that the budget would be given accelerated consideration. It was the President's first budget presentation before the joint session of the National Assembly since he assumed office on May 29, 2023.
I am here today confident that the National Assembly will continue to work closely with us to ensure that the deliberations on the 2024 budget are thorough, but also concluded with reasonable dispatch. Our goal is for the Appropriation Act to come to effect on the 1st of January 2024. I trust you will do it. It is by now a matter of recorded history that my first physical intervention as president of this great nation was to end the fuel subsidy regime, which has proven to be so harmful to the overall health of our national economy. The second was to negotiate and subsequently present a supplementary budget to enable my government to fund the items needed to restore macroeconomic stability and mitigate the harsh impact of subsidy removal. The third was to secure a second supplementary budget, this time to enable us to keep our promises to promote national security, invest in infrastructure, and provide much needed support to the most vulnerable households in our society.
The 2024 to 2024 borrowing plan. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, read Tinubu's letter at plenary. Tinubu, in his letter, pleaded with the Senate to give expeditious approval to his request, as he noted that a bridge borrowing plan tied to provision of social infrastructure, security, employment generation will enable the government to deliver its responsibility to Nigerians. The immediate past administration had earlier approved the borrowing plan at its Federal Executive Council meeting held on May 15, 2023. The Supreme Court has ruled that the old Naira denominations of 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira notes continue to coexist with the new notes till further notice. The courts maintain that the old and new notes should remain as legal tender beyond December 31 until the federal government puts a process in place for their replacement or redesign after due consultation with relevant stakeholders. The Apex Court had on March 3 restrained the Central Bank of Nigeria from giving effect to the deadline on the use of old notes. The CBN introduced the redesigned 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira denominations in October 2022, and certain deadlines were set for the old design of these denominations to cease as legal tenders. Greed, lawlessness, and selfishness of nation leaders contributed immensely to the high rate of corruption in any country. Dr. Alaba Akiniyi of the Department of Business Administration and Management at the Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Forum was delivering an inaugural lecture at the institution. Omar Alambaji reports that the title of the lecture, Servant Leadership, a potent approach to fight corruption in Nigeria, suggested numbers of solutions to address the menace. The Senate has rejected a bill seeking to replace a member of the legislature in the event of resignation, death, or vacancy by simply nominating a replacement as against conducting a fresh election to fill the vacancy. The legislature herein referred to includes the National Assembly and the State Houses of Assembly. The bill, a proposed amendment to the Electoral Act 2022, was sponsored by a senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Karimi Sunday. The bill, which was presented on the floor of the Senate for a second reading at the plenary, became controversial when Senator Akpabio put the bill to a voice vote. The senators responded by rejecting the bill overwhelmingly. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has approved the sum of 15,000 Naira wage award per worker in the state to cushion the harsh effect of fuel subsidy removal on them. Adeleke also approved the sum of 10,000 Naira for each pensioner in the state in the same regard. The approval was conveyed in a circular issued by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Human Resources and Capacity Building, Olubinga Fadele. Fadele disclosed that the wage award would run for 6 months, beginning in December. A statement by the spokesperson to the governor, Olawale Rashid, stated that the gesture was a continuation of Adeleke's commitment to workers' welfare and a fulfillment of his pledge of a gradual rollout of palliative measures to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. The governor appreciated the understanding of Osun State workers and pensioners for their show of understanding regarding the efforts of the state government to improve tremendously on their welfare. The Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency has sealed 7 hotels in the church over noise pollution. Osrc confirmed this on its ex-handle. The agency said they were sealed for environmental degradation. The sealed establishments are Infinity West Bowl Hotel and Suites, the Orange Place Lounge and Event, Holy See Hotel and Suites, B&S Hotel and Suites. The agency said measures were put in place to address the identified instances of noise pollution and other environmental transgressions. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alaki, has unfolded fresh commitments by the federal government to cutting red tape that slows business transaction and improving the security of mining operations in the country. Addressing global stakeholders in the mining industry at a conference in London, United Kingdom, Alaki pitched for more investment in Nigeria, listing unique advantages such as lower production costs due to surface mining and billions of dollars in untapped minerals. He quoted recent efforts by audit firm KPMG, which reported that mining's contribution to Nigeria's GDP rose from 0.3% to 0.5% last year, to 0.85% last year, indicating 0.63% year-on-year growth. Alaki said the administration of President Bola Tinubu has embarked on reforms to boost investment by streamlining procedures and reducing orders to attract foreign investors. The minister reminded the global mining community of the federal government's policy on how mining operations must be beneficial to communities and lead to processing instead of wholesale export of raw materials. Year-old Ahmad Salimani reunites with family. This is as 30 more Palestinian prisoners have been reunited with their families on day 5 of the truce between Hamas and Israel. Among them is a 14-year-old boy, Ahmad Salim. Kemi Solajamo has details in this report.
The moment they had all been waiting for. 14 years old Ahmed Salah, one of the youngest Palestinian prisoners to be released as part of Israeli ceasefire with Hamas, home at last. All through the evening, a roller coaster of emotions. At one point, panic and silence as family members worried Israeli police will raid the house.
Okay, it's him. We can go live.
Ahmed, a resident of occupied East Jerusalem, was accused of throwing stones at a car full of Israeli settlers and injuring one woman. He was first put under house arrest, then moved to a jail under administrative detention, a common Israeli practice where a person can be incarcerated without charge or trial indefinitely. Back in the embrace of his loved ones, Ahmed, visibly tired and traumatized, told about the warnings he received before being freed.
They told me you're not allowed to celebrate. You're not allowed to leave the house on the day you are released. You're not allowed to have signs or flags. You can't talk on loudspeaker. You can't have parties. Anyone who makes noise around the house or sets off fireworks will be taken back to jail.
For Ahmed's mother, relief and concern.
I worry that they might come back and take him away at any moment. I'm constantly worried and afraid because at any moment they might return. You can expect anything from them.
Despite the worries that the mood lightened when the feast commenced. Kemi Solojomu, Osrc News.
Smiling and flashing victory signs as they were led out through a makeshift pipe. Finally, their nightmare has come to an end. Trapped for 17 days inside a tunnel without sunlight and in the cold. The rescue operation was fraught with challenges and obstacles, a number of false alarms in this 400 mission. The machines drilled through most of the debris, but was hindered by melters that made them unusable. New strategies and options adopted just stretched the rescue mission and its uncertainty.
The drilling on the top of the mountain is coming along perfectly. All right. In the tunnel, it's coming along very well. Supporting you guys. Yeah. Right? So I feel good. I've never said I feel good before.
But it was the last few meters that a team of rat hole miners, a practice that is now banned in India since 2014, manually drilled and dug through and reached the men. Once out, they underwent a preliminary check, then driven in ambulances to a hospital where doctors have been put on standby. For the families that camped for days in this cold, remote, mountainous region, their prayers were finally answered and a sigh of relief across the nation. Kunle Ariyo, Osrc News.
Not to relent in its efforts in the provision of potable water for its citizenry. President Bola Tinubu has presented a budget of 27.5 trillion naira for the 2024 fiscal year to the National Assembly, and the budget is Christian's budget for the renewed hope. It was designed to address economic growth, human capital development, poverty reduction, and insecurity. But I told you that the Supreme Court today ruled that the old naira denominations of 200, 500 and 1,000 notes continue to coexist with the new notes to further notice. And finally, told you that all 41 workers have been rescued from a collapsed tunnel in India after being trapped for more than 2 weeks. And that's the news tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.